We're back here on Tri-State Sports Talk on AM 730 KWOA as a very special guest joining us here. We're going to talk with a national champion today as catching up now with Casey Schilling. Casey, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for your time. Boy, where to start, I guess. First, let's kind of just do a quick little recap of the regular season going in. Obviously, Northern Sun champions this year in the NSIC. You guys had a great year going into the tournament. What were some of the keys to your guys' success? Having that great regular season.
I think a big part of it was, we were older, more balanced team this year. We had three starters that were seniors that were, every single night towards the end of the season were fighting because we didn't want it to be our last game. So I think that kind of was a huge part of us. I thought we were much more mature team this year. Every time we had some adversity, we always kind of bounced back and, hit it back, right back, and just every single time we were always just ready to go. And so I think that was kind of our biggest thing. And last year's letdown kind of a big, just kept added fuel to the fire. Every single time that we, thought about that game that we lost, just really got us motivated and got us ready to go for the next season.
I think you really hit a perfect point about you guys always came back, and I think you guys showed that really well at the national tournament. And really kind of taking a look at the total tournament run, starting with the Central Region crowd. I would imagine it pretty cool. Obviously to play in front of a lot of fans out at the Sanford Pentagon, but obviously a lot of good talent with Nebraska Kearney in that semifinal, a close game, and obviously with Northwest Missouri State. Just so some wild games at the Pentagon. For you guys even before you got down to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, no, we played some great teams, and our conference did a good job of getting us ready to play all season long. I thought our conference, was as tough as anybody this year, and so it was just when you play great competition like that, it really gets you ready for the postseason. And I mean, even the conference tournament, we played. USF came out and they played an amazing game against us, and they gave us a run for their money. And then Winona, they're a tough team every single night, so you got to be ready for that. And then Moorhead obviously is a very good team too. So we had three really tough games that I thought did a great job for getting us ready for that regional. And every single one of those games, we had to come ready to play, or else we were going to lose those.
Going on to the Elite Eight then, obviously first time in school of history taking on Tarleton State in that national quarterfinal, and obviously halftime you guys are down at the break, and what was the adjustment? Obviously you guys scored 57 points in that second half on your way to the 86-79 victory. What did you guys talk about at halftime?
It was kind of just do what we do, and we say that a lot. It's one of those statements that you hear a lot, and you just think, it's kind of corny, but we never played outside of ourselves, and that was kind of our big thing. We really trusted the system, and Coach B, he put a heck of a game plan together, and we were going to make them beat us with outside shots. They weren't a great three-point shooting team, but if you watched that game, I mean, they made 15 of them against us. So
Yeah.
we tried to just kept making them do stuff that they didn't want to do, and they just kept hitting shots and kept hitting shots. So we just stayed with the system, and eventually they cooled down, and we stayed on. So
Is that senior leadership in terms of, watching your career, Casey? You're that guy that, you play with a lot of heart and passion, but, you really kind of just, it doesn't really show per se. And I think, that calm demeanor really kind of extenuates through your whole team. Does that come from the entire senior class? Because it looks like that's the way it was at the national tournament, that you guys were just, hey, we know what we can do. We're ready to play. Let's just go do it.
yeah, and I think that's kind of the part about being a little older team. I think when you come in as a freshman and you come in with, even when you're a sophomore, you play with so much emotion, and it's such a roller coaster.
Right.
Every time you get something that comes back at you, and something doesn't go your way, it's such a high or it's such a low. And so we did a great job of just being a senior led team, and just riding that roller coaster just straight, and just not all hills, not valleys. We just wanted to keep going at a steady pace uphill all the way, and we didn't want ever to have that drop off. And obviously we had two slip ups throughout the season where we just kind of didn't come out ready to play. But in a 7-month season like basketball is, you're going to expect a few of those.
Yeah, exactly. And moving on then to the semifinals, taking on Western Oregon, and I thought getting to watch you guys was quite a treat because the physicality that you guys play with is so noticeable. And I thought against Western Oregon, it really was because you just dictated that first half. You played a great half coming out, really just controlled things. And then after that, again, the even keel. You didn't get too high or, you just kept staying at it and on your way to a 74-55 victory.
Yeah, and that was the thing. We thought we got a really tough draw with Tarleton. We thought Tarleton was a tough draw for us. They play so much opposite of what we see all year. They were the home team. They're an hour away from Frisco, and so when we got past that game, we kind of had that feeling that no matter who we play, we're gonna go out and we're gonna try to win. We're gonna win this game, and so we were very confident going into that Western Oregon game. We stayed and we saw when they played Saginaw Valley, and we really liked our chances. They played very similar to us, and we thought that if we came ready to go, we could just blow their doors off. And so that was why we obviously had a slow about 3-4 minutes, and then Dan came in and knocked down some big shots for us. But it was one of those where we knew that if we jumped on this team, they didn't like pressure, they didn't like physicality, they didn't see teams as big and stuff as we were. So we really tried to go in and just be the aggressors that whole game. And after about 5 minutes to just, let the nerves of the game kind of calm down, we really just went after them.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. But as you mentioned, Daniel Jensen did not play in the quarterfinal against Tarleton State. But again, the Vikings showed the kind of balance you guys have. Other guys stepping up. Obviously, maybe Alex Huskin, maybe the number one guy to think of. He played huge in that game against Tarleton. So, as obviously tough it is to not have your senior teammate there with you, had to be great to see other guys step up on the big stage.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'm sure Southwest Christian loved you when you said Alex Huskin right there. But no, Zach Houston played great.
Oh yeah, sorry, Zach.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh.
Zach played great, and Zach's one of those guys where he'll be ready whenever you need him, and he'll do whatever he needs for the team, and that's just awesome when you got guys like that. And he really stepped up and had 13 big points that game, and so it was just one where when he got told with 10 minutes before the game that he was starting, and some guys they couldn't just bounce up and have that great of a game like Zach did. We just had, the juniors, the seniors, freshmen, sophomore, everybody just stepped up into their role and really relished that, like, hey, we got to step it up a little bit tonight.
We were talking a little bit about the physicality that you guys play with. Is that something that is preached by Coach Billiter like since day one, or is that something you guys just naturally have? Because I think you kind of surprised some people that maybe didn't know basketball in the Northern Sun about how physical you guys could be on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I really think Coach B does a great job getting us ready. At the beginning of the season, just getting us physical, getting us ready for our practices are just brawls. We just follow the crap out of each other left and right, and so that way when you get into the game situation, you're ready for it. You're going to play through a little bit more, and so we have some practices where it's a fist fight out there. So, but no. I think Coach does a great job, and I think it's a big part of what Coach recruits. I think there's some tough guys on this team, and I think some teams out there don't have those kind of guys. They don't have those high-character guys that are just going to, when adversity comes, they're just going to hit it back. Instead, I think Coach B really does a great job finding guys that just want to buy in and do it for the team, and it doesn't matter what it takes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because it's not just the big guys down low. It's everybody. Like you said, everybody on the team has that mindset of just doing what it takes, and obviously that team component is what makes it so fun to watch you guys. Moving on then, national championship game against Lincoln Memorial, and what a game. Just back and forth, and it truly was. Here you have the top two seeds in the tournament, and two great teams, and it just seemed like every time one took a swing, a proverbial, I guess, a figurative swing at each other, it was just back and forth, nobody, it was just fun to watch everybody really lay it on the line in that one.
that game was just back and forth the entire time, man. We would get up, they would get up, and every time a lead got cut, and it was an awesome game. It was one of those that you'll remember for the rest of your life. And it had a different kind of feel. You're on CBS and just get excited. I mean, you're playing in front of millions of people because they're all sitting down at their couches watching TV, and it's cool. We were the only basketball game getting played that day, and not on that day, but on at that time, and so it was special. It was a really cool experience, and one of those that we're going to remember for a long time.
Did you know you had a double-double at half? I mean, the announcers were just going nuts that they couldn't believe you were like this active, and I'm just kind of sitting there going, I've seen this before. I mean, it's like it's kind of fun listening to the national announcers. That was kind of their first exposure to you guys too, and again, just that physicality again, showing up for your guys' team. I think to me some of the biggest stats was in every game in the Elite Eight, you guys made more free throws than your opponents attempted. I mean, that I think is just the proverbial. That just shows like what this Augie basketball team was about. Like, we're going to come at you, and if you're not going to guard us straight up, we'll go to the foul line and make you pay.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's actually we have about 5 goals that we have every single game, and that's one of our main ones. We want to actually shoot more, or we want to make more free throws than the other team shoots. And so that's one of the 5 goals we have to win every single game that Coach B writes on the board before everyone. And so, we're not going to be a team that's going to settle for 15-foot jumpers. We're going to come at you. We're going to try to get to the hole, and we do shoot a lot of threes, but we really balance. We're so good at just, if it's not going on the outside, we're going to work it in. And even when it is going good on the outside, we're still going to work it in, just because we had a huge strength that a lot of teams didn't have and down low, and especially in the Division II level. If you have that kind of balance in your team, you're going to have a lot of success.
So Augustana wins the national championship 90-81 over Lincoln Memorial. Casey, do you remember what was going through your mind when the clock hit 0 and the horn went off?
It was a crazy feeling. I got a lot of grief about, people said I wasn't excited on the TV when they were watching it. They just said I was walking off the court. It was kind of surreal. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know whether to jump, to cry, or what. But it was just one of those. There's so many emotions were going through my head, and it was pretty amazing. And I was at a loss for words and everything. And I just ran up to one of my teammates and gave him a hug. So it was probably the greatest thing I've ever experienced so far. And the whole time, you just got to thank God and thank the people that got you there. I mean, my parents and my family I got great brothers that have taught me a lot about the game, and they've really done a great job getting me to the point where I'm at in my life, as a basketball player and as a man. So I can't say enough about my family and about my faith. And so, you just got to be thankful.
Did the whole fam get to make it down then?
Oh yeah, no. My parents have missed, I think, one game in my whole career. I think they were in Cancun or something like that, and they forgot that their flight came back a little later and missed one game, and they were even mad about that. So.
Yeah, obviously a lot of traveling for the Schilling family, and I think that's, like you said, family's so important to you, and it's just great to see, obviously, the hard work that you put in coming from Ellsworth. Now to Augustana, you're going to leave, I think, the number 2 scorer over 2,000 career points. Second, I think, when you left, when you went to Augustana, Casey, did you have any idea, that obviously you're going to have this good of career? I mean, I would have to imagine it's somewhat surreal, seeing all these accomplishments now that you're done. And is that still kind of a weird feeling almost when you kind of look at it, now after being done with it?
No, it's weird. I'm a student teaching right now, and so I'm teaching full time. And every day I sit in class and think, wow, I don't get to do college anymore. I don't get to wake up late, and go to practice, and hang out with my buddies all the time. And this is what the real life's like. But no, it's still a lot of fun, and it's great. I'm very thankful for my 4 years at Augie. I obviously thought I could have a good career, but I never imagined that we could do something special like this and get it done. And so it's you just got to be thankful. Like I said earlier, you just got to count your blessings and pray a lot because you can't do much without that.
Obviously. Talking here with Casey Schilling. So is that the future teacher, huh?
I'm actually going to come back to the Ellsworth area, and I'm going to farm with my dad and my grandpa and my brother.
Oh, excellent.
Yep,
Okay.
going back to the family farm.
Well, that is good to hear. Obviously, Casey Schilling, congratulations again, Casey, on a fantastic year and career. We appreciate the time. Best of luck to you, and we'll look forward to seeing you around.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We'll have, you betcha. We'll wrap up Tri-State Sports Talk after this on AM 730 KWOA.